Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Anybody hungover? All right, all right, all right. I seem to be the guy who replaces Sunday morning speakers. That seems to be like a theme for me. It's actually happened to me at a couple of conferences now. All right, let's do this. All right, how many of you people are AppSec peoples? Oh, my people in the house. That's my boy, good, got some love in the room. All right, how many of you are like WTF when it comes to AppSec? Where's my people? All right, all right. Okay, guys, so for me, I really had to kind of wrap my head around this AppSec thing. I don't know if it hit you like it hit me, but I struggled with it. I'm a network guy by trade. I came from a networking background, sysadmin kind of background. So when it came time to actually start dealing with apps, I really struggled with that. I mean, none of it made sense. Like, how many of you guys, this was you? Like this was my world. Like I'm cool with this mess. Anybody? Like this mess, I got this. I got this. You could throw me in a nasty, nasty server room, you know, I don't even need a jacket. Like, how many of you guys have been in the server room so long, you don't even need a jacket, you don't even hear the hum anymore. You just, hey, I'm good, you know. Right? And that was cool. This was me. So I started on the help desk. I was a PC tech. Oh, thanks, man. I started on the help desk. I started on the help desk. I was a PC tech, you know, telling people how to right click. You know how that life is, right? So I did that for a little while, became a sysadmin, net admin. Then I had the horrible misfortune of becoming an incident responder, you know. Anybody have to live that life? Packet monkey baby, right? So I did that for a while. Then I became a pen tester, and that's the way nature intended. Anybody? That's the way it's supposed to work. So I affectionately called web hacking female dog hacking. That was the word I used. I had a particular phrase. I just couldn't see putting a single quote or a backtick in something and calling that hacking. Who's with me? Like, you know, where's my command prompt? You know, something should go from $$ to a £. Something should go, hey, you're root. Like, that's hacking. There's no masculinity in this web hacking stuff. That's all I'm saying, right? Come on. Anybody with me? So that was what I struggled with. So pen testing started moving away from the network. And I struggled with that because I was cool with network and sysadmin stuff. But then when we started to move to web app, I started to struggle. When we moved to mobile app, I really started to struggle. Cloud confused me even more. People started talking about mashups, and I'm thinking mashed potatoes. Anybody? No? Is it just you? I can't be the only one. So I was like, okay, I don't know what the heck a mashup is. And then someone was like, well, guys, you gotta understand, it's single page applications now. It's SPA. I was like, I don't know what that is either. So all I could say is, I don't know if you went through what I went through, but it was like, Houston, we got a problem. All this gobbledygook is what I started running into when I started doing more and more apps. So I needed something that could help me. I felt lost. Any of you guys? I felt lost. I didn't freaking get it. I felt lost. So I realized here was my problem. I couldn't program. Who's with me? Right? I know speak a code. No. I know speak a geekanese. That's pretty much my situation, right? So for those of you who are computer science majors, you smart people, I don't know anything about Turing's primitives, programming logic, data structures, algorithms, object-oriented programming, anything like that. I am a regular guy. I like alcohol. I like barbecuing. I like sports, that kind of stuff, right? I don't like sit around at home and be like, well, you know, have you really seen the differences between Ember.js and Angular.js? I'm really loving single page application capabilities. What do you think, Bob? No. So I, like most people, figured, why don't I just go grab the OWASP testing guide? Yeah? So that'll help me learn how to do this. That's what I figured. So, well, okay, look, let me just grab the OS testing guide and, maybe that'll be all I need so I can do this. So can you guys please not hack the network while I go out to the internet, please? So I went to the OWASP testing guide, and here's how it started. I said, okay, got my principles of testing, testing techniques, deriving testing requirements, okay, security test integrated into the development and testing workflows, security test data analysis, okay, here's what I do before testing, here's what I do during testing, here's during development, during deployment. This sounds freaking pretty good. Who's with me? Like, yeah, well, yeah, Bob, I feel great. Then you start scrolling down, right? And as I get through the information gathering stuff, I can kind of, I can do a little bit, right? I said, well, conduct search engine discovery. I can handle that. I can Google. I can do that. Identify application entry points. Map execution flows through a website. So I was like, okay, I can do some of this. So here's what happened to me. Most of this stuff I could do. When I got down into here, authentication testing, all this kind of stuff, I was like, okay, I can read it, I can Google it. Session testing, this kind of confused me. And then this stuff really confused me. How many of you guys actually know the difference between LDAP injection, ORM injection, XML injection, SSI injection, XPath injection, IMAP SMTP injection, encode injection? Anybody? Okay, you guys are way smarter than me because I don't. So I used to watch guys pen test, and guys would say to me, oh man, well, I'm really working hard on that test. I'm doing full OWASP. And they were meaning that to say that they do this whole list. So like when you look at a page, do you test the web page for all these different things? JavaScript execution, HTML injection, like, do you do all of that? How many of us were like pretty proud of ourselves because we can finally explain cross-site scripting to our boss? Anybody like had that? You're like, hey, I did pretty good on that one. High five. Yeah, I explained cross-site scripting yesterday. And when someone wants to talk about interpreter injection, or HTTP requests, response splitting or request smuggling, you kind of look at them like, huh? Anybody? Yeah, that was me. I'm like, what is all this stuff? So then I figured, okay, well, let me just do this. Why don't I watch somebody do a web app test? How about that? Okay, well, let me watch. You watch me. So I'm going to open up the interweb. So let's go to a quick page. All right, so I'm on the web, and let me see if I can fix my graphics real fast. Now you tell me okay, now watch what I'm doing. You tell me if this looks like the full OWASP test. So I'd see somebody and they go, okay, nothing in the GET request. They pop it open. They say, well, let me go view page source. Pretty simple post request. Okay. Yeah, definitely vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Okay. Nope, not vulnerable there. No. Drop down. Yep. Nope, not vulnerable there. Let me try down here. Nope. Let me try here. Parameter passing. Well, let's see what it does. Let's insert a tick. Ah, yeah, that's bad. Okay. Let's go OR1 and select add version. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, SQL Server. Oh boy. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, there's SQL injection there. Let's try that. How about I insert it? Yeah, throw in a single tick there. Throw in a single tick here. How about it? Yeah. Oh boy, that's bad too. Oh look, XML injection. Yeah, that's bad. All right. All right, test is done. All right, now, I worked so hard. I did, go ahead, full OWASP, right? Now, how many of you were like me, where you came from this? So to watch a guy look really like my 2-year-old browsing the web, because I mean, honestly, wasn't that what it looked like? Let me click over here. Oh, that looks bad. Ooh, woohoo, pretty color. Oh, that's bad. Okay, your web app's insecure. And I was like, how the heck did you know to put this here? How the heck did you look at this and know to do this? Any of you guys do that? Like, on networks we get. How many of you guys are with me? You get network. Guy says DMZ, we're all like, DMZ. Yeah, it's over there. It's the demilitarized zone. It's how we segment, the external traffic from the, blah, blah, blah. Cool? Then when someone's like, oh, it's middleware. Any of you guys? What the hell is middleware? Right? I don't know this stuff. So it took me 2 years of web app pen testing. And what I did was I did what every other security consultant did. Hit every website with 50 million tools. Period. Typical web app pen test, light that bad boy up with 200-300 tools. If I had 200-301, guess what? I'd throw in that at it too. And then I would go right to the customer. Your website seems to have something bad. It says that. So you want to fix that. Then I'd go over to the developer, give it to the developer, and the developer would laugh at me because that's what they do, right? When you give them stuff that makes no sense. Then you go, this says you have cross-frame scripting. And the developer will go, no, I don't. And I'd be like, okay, well, maybe you don't. And that was all I had. That was okay. So I needed to come up with a way that worked for me, okay? So I'm gonna teach you guys my way. This is the Joe way. You're not gonna find it in any book. It's not on OWASP. This is just what I do when I test websites. So if you were on the job with me and I was teaching you web app, I would be like, all right, man, sit down with me. This is how I test web apps. And then you would use this. I would say, use this methodology, and as you learn new stuff, add to it. Cool? All right, so what you're gonna do is, you're gonna learn 3 questions. So when I deal with a web app, for me, I always ask myself 3 questions. So I'm looking at a website. On every single page of the website, ask yourself 3 questions. So you're looking at a website and you say, okay, question number 1, is it talking to a database? Okay? Yes, it is, or no, it's not. Question number 2, can I or someone else see what I type? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Question number 3, does it reference a file? If it references a file, I got a list of things I try. That's it. So on every page, ask yourself 3 questions, okay? So guys, question number 1, what? Come on. Does it talk to a database? Question number 2, what? See what I type. Question number 3, what? That's it, that's it, we're done. There's no OWASP, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's all I do, okay? Now, is it the most thorough test in the world? No, right? But can you, with just Firefox, go through a website on every single page and ask yourself 3 questions? If you can do that, then you can get started with web testing. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so question number 1, what is it? Yeah, there's going to be a pop quiz. Yes. Question number 1. Does it talk to a database? Okay, so what we got to figure out is how do we know if it's talking to a database? So when I look up here, here's the address. And guys, if you guys want to jump online and do this with me, jump online, drive right with me. Okay, so I'm on this website. Up here, do you see anything after the IP address? You got nothing there, right? Okay, what I'm looking for is parameter passing. Okay, so I'm going to click a link, and now, can you see that I've got a page name, question mark, parameter name, parameter value. So the page name is bookdetail.asp. The parameter name is ID, and the parameter value is what? 1. All right. So as soon as I see parameter passing, the answer to question number 1 is yes. Okay, so I see parameter passing, answer to question number 1 is what?
Yes.
Yes, cool. So what you want to do is you want to insert a single quote in place of or immediately after the parameter value. So you go, oh, well, let me put a single quote in here. This is deep technical stuff. Ready?
The deep technical stuff.
This is the deep technical stuff, yeah. Yeah. So now what we need to say is something really, something that makes us sound like an consultant. Well, actually, we've been able to identify SQL injection inside of your application. The GET request for bookdetail.aspx with the parameter name of ID seems to be vulnerable, right? Right? You have to dress that up. Right? Remember, we go by the hour. Okay, so guys, whenever you can see stuff in the address bar up here, we're going to call that a GET request. Okay? Anytime you can see stuff up here in the address bar and you can monkey muck with it, we're going to call that a GET request. So when you see parameter passing in the GET request, you can mess with the parameters. Insert a single quote, throw stuff in there, try to see if it goes boom. Fair enough? Okay, how many of you can go to every single page in a website and try that? Right? Thinking like, hey, I think I can do this. Right? Okay, so now the next piece is, all right, that's a GET request. Sometimes you're going to run into something called a POST request. So can you guys see this login page? So login.aspx, there's no question mark, something equals something here. So it's not a GET request, it's a what, guys? It's a POST request. So here's your POST request. Now, POST requests still send parameters. So I need to see if I can mess with those parameters. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start up something called tamper data. Okay? Tamper data is a web proxy, just like any of your other web proxies. How many of you people see application monkeys get into fights over stuff like Burp Suite and Zed? Yeah. Like, I mean, this is like World War III. No, I like Burp, Intruders and Mason, right? I want to give my firstborn child. Right? And like these people, I don't know, man, like, I really think the only thing you can do to sway them on this argument is to bribe them with Star Trek memorabilia. I mean, that's all you got. That's all you got. So, look, I'm going to put in hello, right, and hello, and now I'm going to start my tamper, right? So I've got this, start my tamper, I say start the tamper, I say go, it says, hey, do you want to tamper with this request today? And I go, why, yes, I do. So I want to tamper with this request, and we look and it says, ta-da, looky there. There are post parameter names and post parameter values. So immediately here in the post parameter, there's your parameter value. You would insert your single quote right there. It's the same. So if you see parameter passing what? Insert a single quote. That's it. No, there's nothing else I got to tell you. That's it. That's it. Okay? So you're looking for parameter passing. When you see parameter passing, insert a single quote. That's it. So we're looking for injection vulnerabilities of some sort. So we got to ask ourselves this. Let's see if I can turn this off real fast. So we got to ask ourselves why. Well, computers like numbers. Computers don't like names. If I go number equals 10, computers like cool, right? if I go string equals Joe, computer's like, no, don't. Right? Because if you're going to declare a string, you have to put it inside of what? Quotes, right? Computers are perfectly cool with numbers. If you're going to do anything that has text in it, he wants the text to say, hey dude, here's the beginning and here's the what? You got to do that. So here's the problem. When you have stuff that's happening on the web, you have stuff that's happening on the web. Same thing like I just showed you, right? You go, okay, no problem. Int, this is Joe, not a problem. Int is a number, string, here's Joe. As long as it's inside of quotes, we're cool. How many of you guys have made this mistake? Anybody done this before? Okay, what happens? Freaking thing goes boom, right? Okay, then your professor walks by and says something like, well, actually, if you didn't properly terminate your variables, it's going to cause a syntax error, right? And I would say something like, well, why the heck does it say there's a problem on line 12 when the problem's on line 5? What? What? Right? Teacher would look at me like, what's wrong with you, Joe? But no, man, what's wrong with you? Tell this thing, it's not working right. So you can see that it's like, hey, you have an unclosed quotation mark after the character string. Something's wrong, right? So let's go and we look here, right? So we said, okay, what I got here is I'm going to say select all records from my products table where product ID equals request ID. This request piece lets me know it's coming from the web. This number is going to go right there. Does that make sense, guys? So a guy's driving the web. Whatever he has, if you look here, products.asp, is probably talking about what? That product's table. And ID, it's probably talking about what? Then that number is going to go in there. So you're like, okay, well, I got that. Now, what happens when a guy puts in that single quote? So he throws in the single quote right here, and now what that ends up doing is I end up with 2 on this side and what?
3.
Now, is that going to make it go boom? That freaking thing's going to go boom, right? So now when it goes boom, did you basically just do this? I mean, that's really what's happening on the back end. Does that make sense, guys? So you're like, okay, now that I understand why I put in the single quote, right? I'm trying to blow up what's going on the back end. Now the rest is just syntax stuff. That's all it is. The rest is just syntax. Okay, the next one. Let's say I'm out and I'm surfing the web and I go, ooh, search box. And I put this in and I go, ooh, cross-site scripting. Now, how many of you are like me, and when you see that, you find that your boss gives you that look and he says something intelligent like, so what? And you go, well, actually what that means is you can execute code in the context of your browser.
So what?
Because all of us know that's bad, right? Obviously, I mean, geez, that's pretty bad, right? Because I don't want to execute code in the context of my browser. I mean, good God, who would want to do that, right? Okay, so this is why I don't do production software development, because I write code that looks like this. So let's say I'm out here and
You said you couldn't write code.
I really am horrible at writing code. How many of you guys are like me? You can only write code if there's alcohol involved. Like I can code up a storm if I'm drinking. I'll tell you what. But it's the right amount. Like you gotta have just enough to kind of take the edge off. If you a little too much, you can't. Okay, well let's just keep going. All right. Okay. All right. So let's say in my search box I'm gonna do script alert, right? So I'm gonna throw in this script alert. Now, I throw this in the search box, so I go here, right, the thing pops up. Whoops, wrong link. I think I'm struggling with that copy paste thing.
No, you don't think you copied it?
Yeah, I don't think I copied it either. Anyways, so I did the script alert and you get that pop up. So script, JavaScript code. JavaScript is client-side code. That means it runs where? Yeah, it runs on the client, runs in your browser, right? Server-side code, ASP, JSP, PHP, that stuff runs where? on the server, right? Okay, so when you put that script alert in there, that pop-up actually happened where? Huh? Yeah, that happened here. Okay? So the server's fine, isn't it? The server's not struggling. Who's struggling? The client's struggling. So when we did that pop-up, we proved that we can execute code here. So that pop-up just goes, hey, I can execute code. Now I'm going to hit my OK, hit my back button. Now I'm going to grab another one, and it says script what? Can you see it? Document.what? Document.cookie. All right, so I'm going to throw that in there. Hopefully I copied and pasted. So I throw that in there. This time I get a pop-up, and the pop-up says, what? Okay, so I go to Gmail, right? I give Gmail my username and password. I'm like, yo man, puff give. Go ahead. Puff give's a technical term. It denotes, you guys know what I'm saying, right? I give my username and password. They give me back a session ID. No? Okay. Maybe you guys went to a different school than I did. That's all I'm saying. Okay? All right, so HTTP is stateless, right? So your web server has no idea who you are from one packet to the next. So you need this session ID so that your web server can be like, oh, that's Joe. He's the guy who likes talking about drinking and smoking. That's all it is. Right? Puff give, technical. It's how we share it's an authentication mechanism. That's all I'm saying. Let me let it go. Yeah, let's keep talking. So you prove code execution with a pop-up. You also prove that you have access to the session ID, right? So you first, step one, prove code execution. Step two, said, hey, not only do I have code execution, but I also have access to the session ID. So now what I want to do is I want to say, I don't want to do script alert, I want to say document.what? Yeah, go somewhere, okay? So I want you to go to this page, and the page is called what? And I'm going to take the session cookie and I'm going to puff give and send it over here. Does this make sense, guys? Okay, so you take that whole link, throw that in there, like so, right? I paste that in there and the doggone thing doesn't work. How many of you guys would be like, man, this freaking sucks? Or did it? What happened? Yeah, the session ID got sent, what? Somewhere else, thus the term cross-site. Make sense? So I give this username and password, you give me back this session ID. This session ID is how the server knows who I am. So this is how the server knows who I am. If someone else were to have my session ID, they could do what? Yeah, they could pretend to be me, right? So the idea behind it is to say, okay, well this is how you steal a session. Okay, so now you can grab this, go just right here, paste this in, and my cookie catcher writes out all these different cookies. Anyone who's ever clicked the link, it writes them out, right? So that's us today. Make sense? Okay, now, what you could do, I'm gonna do this in Internet Explorer. So let's go to new egg. Right, because Newegg's the only place that we really want to go, right? So I go to Newegg, go to my shopping cart, now right here, just in the browser, I'm going to go JavaScript, void, document.write, document.cookie, right? And then it throws out my session ID, right? So it's like, here's your session ID, Joe. Looks like you come here a lot and spend a bunch of money and piss your girlfriend off, right? So it's got my last visit, it's got all this stuff here. It's like, here's where you come from, here's what you do, why are you always here, Joe, always buying stuff. Now what you can do is you can say, all right, well, I'm going to go back to this page and I'm going to change this document.cookie equals PHP session ID equals of give. Yeah? Right? It's a technical term. So, can jump right back on this bad boy. Right? And my session ID is now what? Puff give, right? So you can take a session ID and just write it in the browser, override it, and try to impersonate somebody. Okay? So now, how many of you are going, okay, Joe, I got that. The problem is I probably wouldn't want to explain it to my boss that way. Anybody? Like, you guys are technical. So you're like, well, we're drinking that Kool-Aid, but I really don't want to explain this to my CIO this way. So what do? When I explain it to my CIO, I say, hey, you have cross-site scripting. Down here, can any of you guys who speak Geekanese translate that code? Okay, script, password equals prompt what? Document.write what?
Send it to that address.
So what I do is I just tell my boss, hey, you have cross-site scripting, so what that means is how many of our users will fall for this?
Oh, yeah.
Plenty, right? So, give. Right, so we tell our customer, look, you have cross-site scripting, people can steal passwords. Now, do the nerds get mad at me when I say that? Right, because I'm not explaining it exactly correct, am I? How many nerds would get all kinds of upset with me? Just up in arms. Like, this is some Frogger-Narkle BS. That's not how you properly explain code execution in the context of a browser. Is it? No, but what do I need the customer to do? I need them to what? I need them to fix it, right? So I used to work for this really interesting place. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been there, but it was a luxury hotel. So I worked at a luxury hotel. It was a great place. Strongly recommend you go. If anybody ever gets a chance to go, strongly recommend. Luxury accommodations. So this was the Hyatt Regency. So I'm working with General Bell, and I have to tell my boss that there's cross-site scripting on a website called syncom.mil. Has anyone ever heard of syncom?
Yeah.
Okay, it's this little government thing. Nothing important. So I'm having to tell General Bell, sir, we've identified cross-site scripting and syncom.mil. Anyone who's ever briefed a general kind of knows how that goes. Sir, we've identified this. And he's like, roger that, next slide. Right, so I briefed him, right? He said, roger that, next slide. Went to the next slide. Well, a week later, I briefed it again. I said, sir, we've identified cross-site scripting and syncom.mil. He said, roger that, next slide. Right, so for 2 weeks, I keep briefing cross-site scripting. Now, in the third week, I was like, sir, we've identified cross-site scripting. Do you want people logging into the website as you? Now, we have a general. Generals have an entourage. It's like a posse, right? He kind of looks at his entourage. Do I want that? No, I don't. Fix it. You got to fix that day. Right? Now, guys, what was the problem?
Ramifications.
Was I speaking Geekanese? That's right, that's right. Now, anybody who does my beloved military knows that we have this phrase that we use when we talk to generals. Beans, bullets, fuel. Does anybody know what that means? What's beans, bullets, fuel? Come on.
Food.
Huh?
Food, ammo, and
Money.
Yeah, and transportation, right? If we're not talking about feeding my troops, if we're not talking about arming my troops, if we're not talking about moving my troops from location A to location B, are we talking about anything important? No, sir, actually, the VPN, we actually need to patch the VPN, sir. We need to add more RAM to the server, sir. Sir?
Can't get no food.
Huh? Yeah, can't get food, right? Does this make sense, guys?
You lost the VPN.
Yeah, we lost them at VPN, right? So the whole thing here is to try to bring AppSec down into something that we can digest. Okay, so question number 1 was what, guys? Okay, now how do you know if it's talking to a database? Do you remember what to look for?
Parameters.
Parameter passing, good. Question number 2, what was question number 2? Can I see what I'm typing? Okay, any place where you can see what you're typing, a forum, a blog, a guest book, a contact us form, instant messenger window, chat window, any place where you can put in something and someone else can see it. Because what happens with cross-site scripting is you throw in that script alert, right? This other guy comes to it later, and because he's on that same page, he executes it. Right? So it's an abuse of trust vulnerability. You think that you're looking at content from the real page, but actually you're dealing with script code from someone else who injected it into the page. Does that make sense, guys? So you look for search boxes, feedback forms, anywhere where you can type something, right? That's where you look for cross-site scriptings and its derivatives of cross-site scriptings. Now, here's what's crazy. When we found the parameter passing, I just told you to insert a what? Insert a single quote, insert a tick, right? If it goes boom, look at the error message. If the error message has, you know, ODBC, JDBC, something like that, then it's what? Yeah, it's SQL, right? What if it has XML? Then it's what? It's XML injection. What if it's an LDAP error? Then it's what? Oh, what if it's a server-side include? Then it's what? Server-side include injection. Does this make sense, guys? How many of you guys did what I did? Meaning, when you see this, you immediately think, I test the website for all of that. Like, you look at the guide, because they're like, hey, if they didn't want me to check for it, why would they write it in the freaking guide? No? Right? Yeah. So I was like, dude, well, you know, and people would tell me like, well, you know, I do full OWASP stuff. And I'm out there going, God, I'm doing it wrong. Right? But when I watch guys, it looks like they just play around on the website. Does that make sense? Okay, last one. What was question number 3? Does it reference a file? Good. Okay, so let's say we go something like this. Okay, so if we look here, I click here. Right? What's it say, guys? Okay, is it talking about a file on the local file system? Yeah, so what you want to try to do is you want to say, hey, why don't I just swap that sucker out with this?
Real website.
Huh?
You make this website up to show this, or is that a real website?
Well, I made it up to show you, but I mean, let's see. Who's going to put in URL? Yeah, I've never seen it right on the web. I'm just saying. I don't know about y'all. Yeah. It's a hypothetical vulnerability. You know, I'm just teaching it here for the sake of academic learning, right? Okay, so what you did is you just said, hey, he's talking about a file on a local file system, so I just what? Yeah, hey man, can you read this file, right? Now, what you could say is you could go, well, let me go, let's go file type, text, and URL, hello.text. Okay, so what I got is a text file, and the text file looks for what? Okay, this is obviously deep technical stuff. So I copy that, I go, well, if I can look for this, we'll call this an LFI, local what? File include, right? Now, the same thing, you should also test for what? Remote file inclusion. So all I did was as it says, hey, he's talking about a file, so I switched what was that with a new file that I wanted him to yank down. And did he yank that down into the page? Okay, can you go to a website and ask yourself these 3 questions on every page? Can you do that? Okay, so guys, is this the most thorough web test out there? No, it's not. It's not. But how many of you have struggled with validating results from a scanner? Anybody ever dealt with that? Where someone brings in the web inspect scans and they go, well, you've got this vulnerability. And then you're the security person, you got to walk over to the developer and go, well, hey, this says you have cross-site scripting. And your developer goes, what's cross-site scripting? And you go, well, no, it's a vulnerability that allows code execution in the context of your browser. That's what it says here, right? And then he goes, oh, we're not vulnerable to that, right? And you have nothing to say. You know, guys, if you can use these 3 questions, you're going to be able to validate a lot of vulnerabilities. Like, this will pick up like 80% of web app stuff. Now guys, is there more?
Sure.
Yes, of course there's more. Okay, now, let's figure out something. We'll look up something called the FuzzDB. Okay, the FuzzDB. It's a project that's out on Google Code. It got moved to GitHub a couple of weeks ago. But what I want you guys to realize is I'm going to jump into the attack section, right? And if we look at the attack section, let's choose cross-site scripting, right? So I choose cross-site scripting. Now I taught you one type of cross-site scripting today, didn't I? Okay, but if you look at this file, what do they have? They have what? A whole bunch. Now everywhere where you can, which question? Number 2, see what you type. So the reason that guys tell you that they like Burp Suite so much is because they can load this list. And now when they have a page where they can see what they type, they'll make it what?
Try all of it.
Iterate through every one of them. Does that make sense, guys? That's the major feature that guys like, right? They like intruder, they like repeater, they like being able to take these massive fuzz database lists, right? Now guys, cross-site scripting is still cross-site scripting. It'd be like if I wrote a vulnerability and I said, okay, 5 plus 5 equals 12, equals 10, and it really equals 12. So you go, hey, I'm not gonna allow you to do that. The attacker could do what? 6 plus what? Okay, what if you wrote a rule for that? What could the attacker do?
7 plus 3.
Okay, 7, 3, 11 minus 1. What, how long could this go on?
Infinitely.
Right? Now that's why people like these massive fuzz database lists, because they're just looking for lots and lots and lots of different ways to say the same type of attack. Does that make sense, guys? So what I showed you, right? I showed you a local file include, didn't I? Okay, but you can do that local file include and look at all the different stuff that you can look for. Does that make sense, guys? So when people are running something like Burp Suite, or quite frankly, any vulnerability scanner, now that you know these 3 steps, do you understand what the vulnerability scanner is doing? Right? So it's just got this huge list of things it tries, and if it gets a certain response back, he goes, oh, it's vulnerable to that attack. That's all it is. How many of you guys thought it would be so much more complex than this? Right? Anybody's like, I thought it would be a lot harder than this. Because like after a couple of years, when I was around it for a little bit, I was like, is that it? Any of you guys like kind of expected a little bit more? That's kind of it, right? You've got certain things that you send. There's only 3 major classes of vulnerabilities: injection vulnerabilities, abuse of trust vulnerabilities, file handling vulnerabilities. Everything else is like authentication, authorization. It's all stuff that your scanners are going to pick up, right? So I'm in the 80-20 rule, right? How many of you guys are like, I just need something that picks up the big stuff, right? And that's what most of our case is. So if you just need stuff that picks up the big stuff, now that you've learned my 3 things, what I would say your next step, if you guys want to drive all the same commands, you can take a picture of this link, right? That paste bin that I just used is public. All these servers that I'm using are publicly available if you want to try any of the vulnerabilities. Should I zoom in some more? Okay, so if you guys want to try all these vulnerabilities, all those servers are publicly available. I got them out on Amazon. Please be gentle to my servers. Don't beat them up too bad. Okay? But seriously, you guys got to try this stuff, right? I'm not a big fan of things like WebGoat and WebMaven and all that kind of stuff. The problem with those is not that they're bad. They're very good at explaining how a particular vulnerability works, right? You can understand what cross-site request forgery is through like Hack Me Bank, Hack Me Books, Hack Me Casino, WebMaven, WebGoat. You can learn that. What you don't learn is how to traverse through a website. That's what's kind of tough from those kind of tools. So what you're gonna notice is I built like 9 of these different vulnerable apps. And they're all the different languages. So I got an ASP one, a PHP one, a JSP one, Oracle backend, MySQL, right? You gotta cruise through the apps and look for vulnerabilities. And the text file negotiates you through them. Like it says here, type this here, type that here, that kind of thing, all right? So that's completely free. You don't need to give your email or anything like that if you want to do it. Just drive. You got it? All right. Next thing I would say, guys, get yourself some Firefox add-ons. Okay? You should be able to perform a full penetration test using nothing but Firefox. You should be able to perform a full penetration test using nothing but what? Firefox. Now, I don't know this guy, but whoever this guy is that put this together, this link right here, it's 68 different Firefox security add-ons. I don't know the guy personally, but I think he did a really good job of organizing all those different Firefox add-ons so you can do web testing. Because there's way more than just Firebug, because that's what most of us, right? Hackbar, Firebug. We're kind of like, hey, we got a couple of cool ones. But that link down here, this guy did a really good job of like organizing all these different security add-ons. I really strongly recommend that you +1 or thumbs up the dude or something. Let him know he's doing a good job. I don't know who he is, but I really think he did a good job on that. Okay. Next thing, guys, is once you're comfortable on the Firefox side, then you can step up to a proxy. Right? Then you can start messing around with Burp Suite, Zap, Fiddler, Charles Proxy on the Mac side for any of you guys who drive a Macintosh, right? That's when you can kind of step into that. I think with some proxies, the learning curve is a little higher, right? Me personally, I really try to steer people away from the proxies until they're comfortable browsing a website and finding trivial vulnerabilities. After that, then you can step into like a Burp Suite or something like that. I personally think if you have no background, Burp is very complicated, right? You got to kind of build your way up to that, okay? All right, after that, shameless plug, we have to talk about the big boys. So, commercial tools. IBM AppScan, $30,000 a year. HP Web Inspect, $24,000 a year. Acunetics is $6,000. Okay. NetSparker, I should have put that up here, but I was doing my slides this morning while we were talking. NetSparker, I think that's like $5,000. It's another one that's fairly low cost. This website, SecToolMarket, now I know it's a long URL, but if you just go to sectoolmarket.com, this guy does a comparison of like 65 different vulnerability scanners, and he rates what they're good at. So he like compares, he's like, here's all the different scanners, sectoolmarket.com. It redirects to that long URL, and he goes down and compares each of the different vulnerability scanners, right? And he shows you like what they're good at finding, what they're not good at finding, how much they cost. He did a really good job here. Okay, so if you're looking to move into that commercial scanner space, like you're at work, you have to do vulnerability scanning for like FISMA compliance, PCI compliance, something like that, you really want to be pretty aggressive on this page, trying to learn what's going on, and then quite frankly, trying to find a lower cost alternative than AppScan and HP Web Inspect. Okay. All right, and then time for my shameless plug. I wrote a scanner. So I need help. I need help. Okay, I spent the last year building a web app vulnerability scanner, and the thought process behind it was I wanted to make something that was kind of like the Nessus model, right? Free. The big boys who like have money, they can spend money on it, but most of us are regular working stiffs. How many of you guys, regular working stiff? Like, hey, I show up for work, and I would do this if I could do something else, but I have no other real qualifications in life. Like if I wasn't doing security, I'd be working at McDonald's. Like I don't know how to do anything else. Like this is it. Any of you guys in the same boat? Like this is kind of it, right? So if you're a regular working stiff, the thought process behind this was to make a vulnerability scanner made very much just like Nessus. Matter of fact, we stole the interface from Nessus. So if anybody from Tenable is here, leave the room right now. Okay, so the thought process behind it, guys, was to make a scanner with unlimited scanning, right? So you download the scanner, you're gonna be able to scan to your heart's content. I will not charge you for it. Unlimited scanning for what? For free. Yes, yes, yes. Unlimited scanning for what? For free. So the whole thought process behind the scanner, guys, is the reporting engine. So you're gonna be able to visualize the reports yourself, change all the reporting. We do CVE, CVSS, all that good stuff. And let me jump back here. Right, the other thing on our new things that we just now added, we added AWS scanning and SharePoint scanning. Okay. So I'm really trying to build this. Now what I'm showing you this for today is I want your help. What I'm looking for is feedback. So the scanner's been released now for 2 weeks, right? It's been out for maybe 3 weeks now, right? So scanner's been out for about 3 weeks. We got about 180 users right now. So people download it, people are using it. Right now, you can only download the scanner as a virtual machine. It's a VM virtual appliance. Couple of things I'm looking to learn from you guys. Maybe you can help me. Okay. Me and my team, we thought the best deployment model would be a virtual appliance. Most people, they want to be able to download a virtual machine and just run with that. Right now, it downloads as just a VMware virtual machine. We're pushing it through something called Packer, and with that, we'll be able to make it so that it runs in DigitalOcean, runs in Amazon, runs on OpenStack, all those kind of things. So our virtual appliance thing, that's what we've been working on. How many of you guys think it would be a big deal to have it have like a regular install, like desktop install, all that kind of stuff? Any of you guys drinking that Kool-Aid? Okay, I got 1, 2, okay. Got like half the room, my God. Really? That big of a deal, guys?
If you have an established tool set that you want to add into your tool set, you don't have to bug around a VM
Uh-huh.
or anything else. So
Okay.
you want to be able to add it into your already existing elements.
Okay, how much of a big deal to drive it on Linux, or how many of you guys want a Windows installer? Okay, so you're cool on Linux? Okay. Hardened BSD. I got my man in the back, what's up? But if you download and install it, how do you trust the installer? I mean, you're going to look through the source code?
I'm just saying that when I go to install it in Enterprise,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to want to stand up the machine that they can't put their stuff on.
Oh, okay, or baseline it, stig it, that kind of stuff, right? Okay, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay. What else are we looking for, guys? How can I make this something that people use? Because I have never built a product in my life. So I spent my last year, being like head down writing code, so I meant a lot of drinking.
You thought about deploying it as a Docker container?
Yes, we are. Docker should be inside of the next 90 days. What's up, bud?
Make sure you install some of the DoD baseline integration.
Like SCAP and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the web applications, like logins and whatnot. Install the baseline of those so that it needs to be looked at.
Uh-huh.
Things like, require hard passwords.
Uh-huh.
Session logout. Make sure those options are in there. Just so,
Oh, really?
just so you can even look at it.
Oh, no way. Okay, yeah, I was not doing any of that.
You'll never be able to sell to DoD. You'll never be able to consider it. If they did, it might be 500 things you need to fix before you get added to the API.
Okay.
I hope you don't have any cross-site scripting
Huh?
in your application itself.
Yeah. Actually, second tool, we actually wrote a source code scanner since we're doing so many source code scans of our own product. Go ahead, bud.
Is it enterprise ready or is it pretty much single user?
I don't know if I would call us ready for anything serious, guys. And it's just, look, you guys, for any women, I'm probably going to be offended when I say this. You're not a woman. I got no reason to lie to you. We're just not ready for that. My buddy in the halfway back, Matt, is here, and Matt's been helping me deal with this. And how do I talk to you about it? Do I BS or do I lie about any of it? Right? Look, I'm one of you guys, right? I'm not trying to make $1 bajillion on the doggone thing. I'm just trying to push something out that hopefully working stiffs can use. So would I want to scan a complex app with this? Not just no. Yeah, we're not there yet. We're just not there yet. And I just don't want to lie to you guys. Look, I made this because it's something that I needed for my job, right? And then I thought like, okay, well, how do I make it so that it's not $20,000 a year? You know what I mean? But it's not Burp Suite. And the reason I say that is I think Burp Suite is a little too complicated for a normal working guy who needs to scan a lot of sites, right? You're at work, you got to scan 30, 40 servers. I don't think you're firing up Burp Suite, manually iterating through those things. Most people want some sort of point and click scanner that they can just point at something. That's what I decided to try to build. So I want your help. That's the short version. So I figured what I would do is I would come here, do a little thing, try to give you guys some things that hopefully help you, then hopefully you could give me some feedback that helps me. So definitely take home number one, desktop install. I had no idea it was that big of a deal, right? Most of my customers, big virtualization environments, so that's what I thought. I had no idea it was that big of a deal, so I'll take that home. What else are things that you guys would want to see? Like right now we just got SharePoint. What else would you like?
Make sure it's well documented so we're not harassing you on Twitter like, hey, Joe, how do I do this, how do I do that?
Ooh, documentation. Us nerds are always good at that. I'm not hating on you. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Okay. All right, so good docs, good videos to walk you through how to use it. And what else?
What protocols or standards that do you currently support? Like people should bring me up to DoD, that I'm concerned about CIS.
We scan for CIS benchmarks right now, right? We scan for CIS benchmarks right now. That's why we're able to do like the AWS scanning, the SharePoint scanning, and the web services scanning. So right now we scan for that. We don't adhere to it, right? So again, I don't want to turn around and get me into where I'm lying. We built the virtual machine. We tried to harden it. We don't allow it to point to anything but our repository so the VM doesn't update anywhere else. You know, that way we can keep but we did that trying to keep the platform as stable as possible. So my thing is, how do I keep this where it's beneficial to you guys? So what things are you looking to scan? Like right now I got SharePoint, I got Amazon AWS, so we scan AWS, S3, IAM, EC2, RDS. What else are you guys testing that's out there that would be big for you?
Like a Swagger document.
Ooh. Ooh. Damn. No, I don't do that at all yet. Why do you like to keep throwing stuff at me? What me and Matt were talking about, I was on a pen test with a customer, and the customer wanted an advanced search feature. So on this advanced search feature, what he wanted to do was right here, where you could search your last X many days of results. Like you want to know, hey, did I have a cross-site scripting in any of these websites in the last 90 days? Did I have a whatever attack in any of these in the last 90 days? What the customer was struggling with was if he wanted to look through his previous results, he couldn't look for a particular thing in a particular date range of time. Do you guys have any things like that that you'd like to see? Like, how many of you guys run into quirky things like that? Like Matt wanted custom alerts. So like, you know, Matt is like our primary driving guy right now. So Matt wanted, if a new web service stands up in my environment, a targeted email or trend reporting, like between this scan and this scan, if a critical vulnerability showed up in my target environment, send me an email, right? What are some other kinds of things that you guys would like? Like, what's up?
Tagging targets.
How? Tagging how?
Just like assigning, like, okay, this is an email server, this is a webmail server, this is a, I don't know, e-commerce site.
How big of a deal, if you do something like that, does it need to integrate into your asset management system if you're going to do that?
Not too much, just like basically like, okay, I need to assign this tag to this host, and then I can search for all hosts with this tag.
Oh.
We have 3 different hosts that all have part of the same application.
Ooh.
This is all part of my banking system. That's this host.
Cool.
These are those definitely.
Okay, for the dev guys. So you got to know who to bring the Star Trek memorabilia to. Okay. What's up, bud?
Delta reports are helpful too. Like
The trending
if it goes up, a lot of times the first question is, well, what went up?
and what changed and what.
Changed? Like, do we have a new what new vulnerabilities were introduced?
Okay.
Like, what caused that increase or what caused that decrease? Delta reports are super helpful.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to keep all that. How are we doing on time? I got to wrap it up now? Huh? Scheduled task will be out on Wednesday's push. Yeah, so if you download after Wednesday, you'll have scheduled jobs, scheduled scanning. Yeah, scheduled scanning.
So what's your business model on this? So you said it's free, right?
The plan is to charge for custom reporting. So if you want to build really complex reports, the plan will be to charge $1,000 a year for that. Again, the thought process was for working stiffs. I'm not trying to be a bajillionaire. I'm just a regular working guy just like you guys. So if you want to do really custom reporting beyond what it already does, so let's say you go to this type of report and you want to do more custom reports like custom exports, like API access, like you want to push this into a SIM, you want to do stuff like that, nah, bro, you're writing me a check. That's all I'm saying, you know. Huh?
You're charging for the thing that you take to do at a very reasonable price.
Yeah. So like if you're a regular working stiff, man, I'll let you drive it and I'll let you, beat your head against it as much as you want. If your name is HP ArcSight or some crazy mess like that, oh, not just no, but hell, you giving me a check. Sorry, man. I'm just saying. I spent man, you have no idea the divorce that I had to go through, basically. Because guys, I don't know, any of you guys got any dev experience, but you basically have shit in less than 1,000 hours of dev. I'm just calling it like it is. So, we spent a year developing this, and, me and 3 other guys, and we are now like a notch above crap. Like I'm keeping it real, man. I mean, come on, Matt. Come on, man. Like, we worked our butts off on this, and now I see why these people want so much freaking money when they build software. Like, this was not easy. So, now that the dream is finally being realized and we're starting to get users and users are starting to say, hey, I wanted to have this and I wanted to have this, or your website doesn't support the right authentication. Thank you, Matt. I want to make it helpful. Look, I'm not hurting. I think I can lose a few pounds. So I'm not trying to get rich off you guys. Right now, my focus is how do I make something good? That's where I'm at. So help me make something good. Guys, message me on Twitter, email me, you guys got my info. And if you don't, I guess I should put it up there, huh?
Thanks for that.
Yeah. But right now we have PCI reports. We're working on GLBA, HIPAA, FISMA, all that kind of stuff will probably be before the year is over. Or early next year, we'll be getting compliance reports and stuff like that out. That stuff is all gonna be free. So the idea is to keep all of this stuff free. If you're gonna do enterprise integration stuff, that's what I wanna charge for. But for regular working stiffs, drive it. Go ahead, bud.
I think that's open source.
Is it open source? No. Yeah. Oh, you want me to open source it? What if I open the APIs? And let you guys write, because somebody asked me the other day about extensibility. Like if I give you guys API access to it so you can write stuff to it, I'd be okay with that.
Being able to create a scan from another tool. So have an event-driven process where another tool can take your app and generate the scan.
So I've had some customers ask me about CI, people who want to like hook up with Jenkins and Jira, do continuous integration kind of stuff, and then build it into their process. Is that a big deal for any of you guys? Yes. Be able to drink that Jenkins Jira Kool-Aid, that kind of stuff? Huh? Oh, okay. So I can kick off scans here and then have it talk to something over here. So if you're doing your regular testing, anytime you find a web server, automatically add this. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right. So just the list of web services, kick it over. Oh, not too bad. Okay, how many of you, big deal, wanted to get into repositories? The Ubuntu, Debian, RPM types, Red Hat RPM, Ubuntu, Kali Linux, all that kind of stuff. How many of you guys, big deal that it's in the repositories?
Well, once you get it to where it is an installable application, yeah. I focus on getting it where I can at least download it and install it. Then worry about the repository.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm thinking let's hammer the nails in the coffin. I'm thinking stick the fork in us. We're done? Guys, I appreciate you guys putting up with me. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.